Want some tricks on how to letter comics by hand? Then this is a video you need to watch. Hello everybody, it's me again, your old pal Max West. As you know, I draw comics and I do children's picture books. And today I'm going to show you some ways of lettering comics. Now, I'm going to talk mainly about lettering comics by hand. Now, I know some of you maybe think I'm crazy. Lettering by hand? I mean, maybe some of you out there thinking, what, do you know what a computer is? Why don't you get with the times? Well, there's nothing wrong with lettering on the computer. I've done it myself. So I just prefer lettering by hand, and to be honest, if you're just starting out, the tools needed for lettering by hand are cheaper. If you want to letter on the computer, well, you'll need different things. You'll need either an actual piece of computer hardware, a PC or a Mac, and we're not going to get into the debate on those two platforms. You'll also need a scanner, and you'll need some kind of graphics program. Now, excuse me, if you are interested in lettering on the computer, I can recommend the DC Comics Guide to Coloring and Lettering Comics. This is a very good reference for those of you who want to letter both by hand and digitally. Well, anyway, we're going to talk about hand lettering. Now, some of the things you'll need one of these. This is an Ames lettering guide. Well, this is used by, architects, engineers for mechanical drawing. Many cartoonists and illustrators use this too. All right. Yeah, you can find this art supply stores, office supply stores. Now what I do is on the bottom row, you'll see numbers here. I set it to 5. That's the usual size I do. And I'll give you a demonstration of how I use that in just a minute. Now, for pencils, here, the mechanical pencil is the clear winner. This is the tool you should use for drawing your letters. Now this one, I use a 0.5 millimeter pencil lead. This is what I use for drawing my letters in pencil. You'll also need a something straight. Now, usually for this, for my comic strip, Poison Ivy Gulch, I use a good wooden ruler. You can also use a T-square, which I've shown before in some of my previous videos. Alright, now I'm going to give you a demonstration. Got my ruler, my pencil, and my Ames lettering guide. Let's see if we can get a good view there. Alright, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Alright, here. Now, what I do is, after setting my Ames lettering guide, I draw some lines. And these essentially are the guidelines that I'm going to be using to draw the letters. Again, lettering by hand takes some practice, so don't get discouraged. Right here. Now that I've got my lines, thanks to my Ames lettering guide, using my trusty mechanical pencil, I start drawing the letters in. All right, there. Ace is asking, you know, what's this? And Lana is giving him an answer. There we go. And there we go. Lotta, what's this? But Ace, I thought you liked chunky soup. Now it takes some practice with with lettering, with hand lettering. So, try it out. Get an Ames lettering guide, a ruler, some mechanical pencils, and practice. I'm also going to touch upon, inking your lettering. Now, as you know, I prefer a dipping pen. I'm going to talk more about inking comics in the next video I do. So basically, I get my India ink, good black India ink that's waterproof. Get water, paper towel, and I pull out my nib pen. Now the tool I usually use is a Speedball C6 nib. There are all kinds of lettering nibs from Speedball, so you can try them out. People use other tools. Some might use markers. They might use a fine liner marker, such as this. This is a Statler Pigment 0.7 millimeter. Or they might use this, a Pilot Precise V5 rolling ball pen. I've used this too on some of my other work. Some people prefer one of these. This is a technical drawing pen. Specifically, this is a Koh-i-Noor Rapidograph. Again, try different materials and see what works for you. All right. So here, got my Speedball C6. I dip it into the India ink like so. Now, just like with drawing letters in pencil, inking the letters by pen takes practice. It'll come in time if you practice. All right, here we are. Yeah, you constantly have to dip the pen into a jar of ink here. I know that takes some getting used to. But you can do it with practice. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Anyone can draw. It is a skill that can be learned. Anyone can make comics. Anyone can illustrate. All you need are the tools and the drive to do that. Train your mind, your hands, and there's nothing that you can't accomplish. And there we go. Now, if you want some more in-depth look, more of an in-depth look at how to use the Ames lettering guide, there's other videos on YouTube for doing that. And again, I'm going to recommend that book I did a moment ago, the DC Comics Guide to Coloring and Lettering Comics. This does talk in depth about lettering, both by hand and digitally. It also talks about coloring comics, but that's a whole other book. That's a whole other video. Yeah, it does talk about the Ames lettering guide, so if you track down a copy of this at a bookstore or your local library, it's very handy to have. Now, that'll be it for this video. Hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon to be notified of when I do new videos. and you want to see more of my work, just check out the links below in the video description. Until later, everyone, it's me, your old pal Max West, saying goodbye.